So there's a study out that says that people that curse are more intelligent than people that don't. Now, how can that be? My whole life I was told that, if you have to curse, then you're not smart enough to use another word or, you know, something along those lines where, you need more intelligence to be able not to curse. And, first of all, I've always, felt obligated to curse because, you know, the implications of somebody telling me what to say and how to say it is ridiculous to me. But I believe that the intelligence level has to do with fear. Somebody says that you can't do something, you're afraid you're going to be scolded for saying fucking class or something like that. So I believe that that level of fear and that level of intimidation and, the awareness of the consequences that could happen, I believe that has a factor in it. And I believe that's what they're doing with the censorship right now. I believe that they're trying to keep us stupid. I mean, you look at the Common Core math that they're trying to put out. I mean, that they did put out. You put the numbers in a box. They don't even do the multiplication tables really anymore. And that's a universal language that they're destroying. But I believe that it does have a lot to do with fear, and it has to do with control, and it has to do with, manipulating a population. You see all the definitions being changed right now. When Amy Barrett was getting into the Supreme Court, they tried to say that sexual preference was a derogatory term, that people were upset about it. They changed the definition of what a vaccine is, and now to call the mRNA shots a vaccine, they had to change the definition because it doesn't do what a vaccine does. What else? I mean, being all cool and nuanced and putting new words in like bootylicious that don't really mean anything, that's all fun and cool when, you're adding to the language and, whatever, however you want to take that. But when you're manipulating language to push an agenda and you're centering it around the feelings and the emotions of people, it's a dangerous situation. One of the most powerful marketing tools is emotional transfer. And, you see it all the time. If you can feel something about a product, then, you're more likely to relate to the product. You're more likely to buy the product. So they're using this form of manipulation to get people to believe things that aren't true. And it's not even necessarily that they're lying, but the way that they say things gets you to believe things in a different way. When Bill Gates was like, the virus came from bats, with one extra step. That one extra step was the laboratory manipulating the genes and releasing a virus onto the world. So language, fear, it's all a part of the manipulation. It's all a part of the control. And you have to be careful when people start pushing a policy, pushing an agenda based upon feelings, it's really dangerous because then people always want to hear what they want to hear. You tell somebody about themselves, they're going to shut off and they're not going to listen to you at all. And that's pretty apparent. But it's, what's the quote? It's a revolutionary act to tell the truth in a time of tyranny. And this is that time now. You know, you see movies like The Matrix, and it's about, you know, after human beings were already made into batteries, and this is what they want now. They don't want us to go outside. They don't want us to talk to each other. They don't want us to, you know, congregate. They don't want us to have any weapons to protect ourselves. You know, you look at the agenda, and, you know, it's all pointing in one direction. You can't say that, you know, you can't be facing the wrong way on the highway, get pulled over by the cops, and say, oh, I wasn't doing that. You know what I mean? And that's what these people do. They just bold-faced lie to you. Hillary Clinton put out a tweet that that she didn't have any classified material on her servers that she was emailing everybody on. And you know, Comey of the FBI already came out saying that she had thousands of classified documents, and then he also said on top of that that no reasonable investigator would prosecute her. And now, you know, Hillary Clinton's emails have been proven. I have seen some of them at least. You know what I mean? And Trump is alleged that to have, you know, they're saying, oh, nuclear. They said it. They said it in a way. I forget exactly what it was, but it's like the conversation of nuclear capabilities or something like that. But they're manipulating us. They're being caught doing one thing and then blaming somebody else for what they're doing. And when they get caught, then they blame the person and not the ideology behind it. I mean, Merrick Garland came out and said that Antifa was an ideology. Yeah, everything's an ideology. You know, MAGA's an ideology. The Green New Deal, Build Back Better whole thing is an ideology. Yeah, it's always an ideology, but it's obviously an ideology that you agree with because you're pushing an agenda and you're using that force to, you know, do the dirty work, push the things that the government can't do. The government can't come stalk you at your house. You know, they get allegedly, you know, the government can't go burn down churches and police stations and courthouses, and, you know, the government's not going to do that. But when they allow specific groups to get away with things, then, you know, not only are they causing an issue there, but then there's going to be another group that's going to fight back, right? So now the president has declared war on half of the population, which is crazy with this failing agenda that he's got pushing, with the inflation going on. You know, gas prices are coming down now, but well, watch after the election, they're not going to be down anymore. You know, he shut down Exxon and their oil capabilities, and is through BlackRock supporting Chinese oil. And this guy's going to get on TV in front of the entire world and declare war on half of the population, declare that people wanting freedom, wanting transparency, wanting the truth, you know, people that, I mean, watch 2,000 Mules. And then, you know, they talk about election denying, when every time a Republican wins that they do the same thing, and that there's never been anybody to question that. You know, they take the vote, they put in their 2 cents, and then, you know, they do whatever has to be done. This is the first time that an election has been challenged and was not able to go through, the proper rights. And you could talk about January 6th and all of that, but if you were there, if you were there in the crowd where Trump was speaking, then it was a completely different feeling than all the craziness that was taking place. I lost my videos somewhere. I gotta find them, but I'll get back to that on another day. But with this broken agenda being pushed right now, and seeing how, just printing up trillions of dollars is putting our economy into a bad place. They want to push other stupid agendas where people are getting money with no intent of paying back. There's no push to work. There's no pride in work. You go anywhere. You go in the fast food. They throw the burger. It's not. You call the bank and it's all digital. You try to talk to somebody. You can't. It's all moving in the same direction. So to see something in a linear pattern isn't hard. You know what I mean? So you can't tell me that these people at the top of financial institutes, at the top of the government, you can't tell me that these people were going to have a plan where they're going to print trillions of dollars and that wasn't going to inflate, with more money chasing less products, promoting people not to work, paying people not to work, keeping kids out of school. And then now they're trying to change what they did. They're trying to say that Republicans tried to keep kids out of school when you clearly had Ron DeSantis at the front of the line pushing for kids to get back into school. And the effects of that are, yet to be seen, let alone all the numbers of the COVID that they took away in secret. They tell you all the high numbers when they're promoting deaths like the decapitation of the motorcycle driver in Florida. And then they go behind the scenes and they erase that data and then it's just like it never happened. Luckily we have things like the Wayback Machine and we have people watching and all that kind of stuff, because this is planned. I can't believe that the people at the top of these institutions are stupid. Like it's either got to be complete stupidity or it has to be malicious. Those are the only two options. You can't make a mistake and then see the effects of something and it was negative and you say, oh shit, like let's not do that anymore. It's having a negative effect. The masks aren't doing anything in schools, so maybe we can stop leaving bacteria-drawn face diapers on the children and they can learn and get their physical cues and facial recognition and all the stuff that it takes to develop a child. Instead of recognizing that these policies aren't working, and they're actually hurting the economy, they're hurting the kids. Instead of recognizing it and making a change, they double down and move in the same direction. Now they're pushing for the mask mandates again. And I'm up in New York, and New York is a shit show. They're teaching sex ed to 3rd and 4th graders, which, the whole sexualization of the children right now is crazy. It's one thing to live a certain way and to do your thing. I'm not against people being free and being happy, obviously. But at the same time, it's not my responsibility to to affirm your decision. If I don't like it, I'm not going to like it. It's not my responsibility to call a man in a dress a woman. If he wants to be a woman, by all means, do your thing. But for you to tell me that I'm going to call you a woman when when you're clearly a man. I mean, it's very basic, the differences between the man and a woman. You can see it. You can see it in children. It, there's more masculine boys and more feminine boys, more masculine girls and more feminine girls. On both sides, people are all different, but they're trying to put people in a box. They're trying to make people all the same. They're trying to make words mean different things and trying to manipulate how you feel about things so they can get you to act in a certain way. So they can get you to make that purchase through the commercials. So they can, get them to tell you where you live on Facebook. So they can get to put a GPS in your car and see how fast you're driving, where you're at, all this stuff. And it's just sad that it's not even that people don't see it anymore. You have people taking the vaccine, dropping down in front of them, and they just stand in line waiting for theirs. Like there's a gap missing somewhere, and I have not been able to fill it. I've been on debate platforms and all types of things, and I had people say, "Oh wow, you really changed my mind about this, this and that." And then I talk to the same people down the line, and they're still saying the same thing. You know what I mean? Like how many times do you have to have the same conversation and be able to interpret that into what reality is? You know what I mean? And I remember going through school, and I slept through school pretty much, and school came easy to me, so it's hard to it's hard to put that into perspective when I'm talking about it, because people have harder times with it. But at the same time, the system's broken. Like they've done nothing to change it since the 70s. They updated the books, but and the way people teach, we're taught to we're taught to remember things and regurgitate them. We're not taught how to learn. Even the critical thinking problems in math, they're all similar. They're all about you're not taught how to speak in math. That you can talk in mathematics. You're not taught that. You're taught how to remember and regurgitate what 5 times 5 is. I mean, it's important, but there's a level that needs to go past that, and there needs to be a separation between the kids that can go faster and the kids that can go slower. And it doesn't mean that anybody's smarter or dumber, really. And I think that's like the concept that they're trying to get with, like they're saying that standardized testing is racist and stuff. It's not, because if you're taught the right things, if you're taught the same things, if you're taught the truth, then everything comes out. You can learn it at different speeds, but there is an ultimate truth. You know what I mean? You can speak in mathematics. That things actually mean things. You can't just change what it means and then expect it to work. You know what I mean? But I'm out here walking with the dog. Figured I'd rant a little bit. And thanks for watching.